Hi there, welcome, and thank you for being here today. My name is Lynn Dome, Women in Cybersecurity Executive Director. We often go by our acronym WiCyS because that's exactly what we are. We're We Sisters, we're We Cyber Sisters. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and I'm just going to share my slides here for just a second. And so we're a 501c3 nonprofit, a member-based organization, and our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. And we do so by creating opportunities. We have many different skill development training programs, one of which that we're going to be discussing here today, the Security Training Scholarship made possible by Google. And in addition to Bloomberg and Facebook joining forces for the next cohort session, we have many other different skill development training programs as well. We have an online member forum where all our members can network and connect. And in addition to that, we have many different special interest groups in the online member forum, such as neurodiversity and cybersecurity or data privacy, cybersecurity law. So we're all about cultivating a community within a community. We have newsletters and webinar series, scholarships, grants, and awards, all pertaining to our annual conference, which is September 8th through the 10th in Denver, Colorado, in addition to other conferences and events as well. We have Cyber Talent Emergency Fund designed for students within their last 4 semesters of school. So if they have a true financial emergency as their car breaks down or medical expenses, that they could submit and receive up to $599 within 48 hours of them submitting an application for that. We have many different speaking and media opportunities. Our Job Board Plus is where our strategic partners recruit from year round, and all our members have the option to upload their resumes and update their profiles and be recruited from the job board. We participate in many different market research contributions. In addition to having the Leadership Summit, we have a Veterans Assistance Program, a Military Spouse Assistance Program, and a Veterans Apprenticeship Program. We have our Speakers Bureau and Mentor-Mentee Program, which, by the way, our next applications are going to be opening up in August. Right now, we're still in the 2020 cohort, and we have 707 mentees and 185 mentors in that program. So we have a racial equity committee, 36 professional affiliates with representation in Africa, Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the UK, and all throughout the United States, and 130 student chapters in Canada, Costa Rica, India, Nigeria, Puerto Rico, and all throughout the United States as well. And we owe all that to our special thanks of our strategic partners, AWS, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute, Cisco, Facebook, Google, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Optum, AbbVie, JP Morgan Chase & Company, Navy Federal Credit Union, Nike, SentinelOne, Workday, American Airlines, Arctic Wolf, Dell Technologies, Envestnet, Flatiron, Fortinet, Haystack, Here, the Home Depot, IBM, MITRE, Oak Ridge National Lab, Palo Alto Network, Sands Institute, SAP, SmoothStack, SpearTip, Starbucks, Verizon, University of California, San Diego, and Verizon. Oh, and Target. And so we're here today discussing our skill development training programs. And these programs really came into the existence of the WiCyS organization last year. It's when we canceled the 2020 conference on March 5th. The 2020 conference was supposed to be 12th through the 14th of March. And very quickly, as a team, we were able to connect and collaborate and meet up with a lot of volunteers and make a virtual conference happen by April 15th through the 17th. And we had over 1,200 attendees, over 70 exhibitor booths at that virtual event, and it was a great success. But from there, Google, who is our strategic partner and brought to us the very first cohort of the Security Training Scholarship, came to us and said, hey, we know that you launched into this virtual platform very quickly. A lot of their D&I initiatives with the cybersecurity space were in-person events, and they wanted a way to engage and to be able to continue opportunities for women in cybersecurity during the pandemic, so everything very virtually, and ways for those to be able to build up their portfolios and their LinkedIn profiles and their resumes and continue to advance in their career even because of the pandemic. And so with that, WiCyS was able to connect with another strategic partner, SANS Institute, and we, through the power of the three of us, were able to put together the skills, the security training scholarship made possible by Google. And so that was a smashing success. The impact was very significant. We had over 900 applicants. Half of those participated in the CTF. The CyberStart game had 116 participants, and then we ended up with 15 full scholarship recipients. And there's just the power of the cohort, and this in and of itself is evidence of that. So with each and every phase of the multi-staged scholarship, everyone was put into a cohort setting. So whether it be the CyberStart game or the CTF and the assessment or the final scholarship recipients, they were all in this cohort designed to mentor and engage and continue the conversation even offline and support each other. And so the WiCyS Security Training Scholarship made possible by Google was a great success in the fact that everyone was doing wonderfully in it and has done phenomenal throughout the entire program. So the average score on the GSEC was 90%. And as a cohort in general, WiCyS recipients scored higher than any other SANS scholarship cohort. And since 2013, only 2 people scored 99% or higher on the GCIH, and one of them is a WiCyS scholarship recipient. So we couldn't be more proud of the success of the cohort recipients, and we're here today to celebrate them. In addition to that, we also want to announce that the 2021 applications are not open. So we now have Google, Bloomberg, and Facebook here to sustain and grow the scholarship program. So if you check out our website, and the URL is at the bottom of this slide deck, and I'll be adding it, so it'll be at the bottom of your screen as well. Please check that out and apply for the next round of the Security Training Scholarship made possible by Google, Bloomberg, and Facebook. So for right now, we have the lovely Caitlin from the SANS Institute, and we have some scholarship recipients to answer some questions that you might have. And so I encourage you all to ask those questions, put it at the bottom of your screen, and at the end of our presentation today, we'll be taking those questions live. And if you haven't done so already, I'm encouraging you to subscribe to our newsletter or follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And so with that, I would like to introduce Sarah Morellis from Google. And she's not here today, unfortunately, Sarah. Well, fortunately for her, unfortunately for us, because she's not here live, but she's on vacation this week. So she was able to share with us a video.
And also a place of community where people can learn together, where they can share how they're taking on the different security challenges, how they're learning new coding, programming, and all sorts of different tools that you need to be a part of the security industry, and also to help build their professional network. Joining a new field and growing, you need to not only learn content, but also have a community of people that you're working with, excited to be able to expand this program with the support of Facebook and Blue. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Morellis, and I am a member of Google's security and privacy team, and I help to manage our outreach program, which puts me in touch with lots of great security and privacy field events, organizations, and different programs. I was lucky enough this year to work with WiCyS and SANS on launching the Security Training Scholarship Program, which we funded starting last summer and have now, with the help of Facebook and Bloomberg, be able to expand the second round, which you're hopefully joining us today to learn about. This program was started last year when we saw that conferences and engagements are wonderful, but sometimes they're just one-off events. And we really wanted to create a place for people to have ongoing trainings to cover some of the fundamental content that's needed to join the security industry, and also a place of community where people can learn together, where they can share how they're taking on the different security challenges, how they're learning new coding, programming, and all sorts of different tools that you need to be a part of the security industry, and also to help build their professional network. Joining a new field and growing, you need to not only learn content, but also have a community of people that you're working with that can help you in your professional development, with networking to find new roles, and also to just feel accepted and included in the industry. Google really feels that in order to make the industry more diverse and inclusive, we need to be present in all levels, both in people just joining the field as well as those at the more senior levels. So we started this program with WiCyS and SANS to help that first group, those who are trying to join the industry. And I'm so proud of the finalists in this program who spent 10 months completing this training, who worked countless hours learning new topics and sharing with each other and helping each other through the content. It's been a wonderful experience getting to meet all of them, and I'm so excited to be able to expand this program with the support of Facebook and Bloomberg to all the WiCyS community for another round. I want to thank all of you and congratulate everyone who's graduated. I want to encourage those listening to apply, and I look forward to meeting many of you and learning more about your career journeys. Now I'm going to hand the mic over to the SANS team and a couple of the participants to share about their journey.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here to learn more about this program and to celebrate the completion of this inaugural WiCyS Security Training made possible by Google Cohort. My name is Caitlin Boyce, and through SANS, I've been with this cohort since the initial CTF as both a subject matter expert and as a mentor, which means I've really just had the opportunity to watch them grow both as skilled cybersecurity technicians and as amazing examples of what women can accomplish. Also a graduate of the 2018 SANS Immersion Academy. So I would say that that gives me a unique perspective on these immersion academies and this training. And as someone who has both helped guide people through them and been a participant, you know, I have a lot of experience with that. And that being said, I'd really like to talk about some of the things that make this program so unique. First of all, the passion and the dedication that these folks brought into the program and their studies. I think from beginning to end, it was about 9 months of work and studying, which would be impressive on its own, but especially in 2020 when we were all in a period of adjustment. Just like everybody else living in this cohort, we're dealing with things like unemployment, having to work and study for home while caring for children, being full-time students, and, you know, just a global pandemic. So I know you've seen some of the statistics from these graduates. Lane just mentioned some, there's some on the website, but that really only paints part of the picture. And I don't know what it is about WiCyS members, but the applicants and participants at all stages of last year's program were really just so incredibly impressive. There are a few other things about this program that are unique and very cool. First, it's one of the only immersion academies that's open to candidates outside the US, which means we had cohort members from places like Brazil and Mauritius and India and Kenya. And it's really just an incredible opportunity to grow and create your network on a global scale. Also, the first two stages of this program, which are CTF and CyberStart Game, which is a huge platform of CTF style. If you don't know what that is, it's capture the flag. It's these kind of gamified security challenges. It's just incredibly valuable training on their own. So given that, I believe that even beyond these 15 women that completed the training, there were actually many, many more who were lit up by those initial phases to go on to further training and employment. The last thing I want to talk about is just the diversity of applicants, both for the initial phases and those selected for the final cohort. That's something that I always get really excited about. We had, for example, in the cohort, a physical therapist, a chemical engineer, like everything in between. So we had undergrad and grad students, lots of career changers in the cohort. So I hope that one of the biggest takeaways for anybody who's listening and here is that if you have an interest in security, just apply. If you don't have a ton of knowledge or experience, even if you have just an interest or a passion in any way in security, you are an incredibly valuable candidate. That being said, I think that the best way to learn about the program a little bit more would be to hear from the participants themselves. So we have a short video with some questions and some answers from some of them. So we can go ahead and play that for you.
So over a decade ago, someone had been cyber stalking and threatening my boss, now friend, and law enforcement had already told her, hey, you know, we just don't have the resources to stop this perp. And of course, I'm a nosy and detail-oriented person, so I was on the case. You know, I was checking email headers and using OSINT to geolocate this person. I mean, I was on it. But this sort of thing would go on for years. I would pick up a cybersecurity skill and really not know that it would be applicable to a lawful career.
A lot of factors contributed to me embarking in cybersecurity. First off, I have quite a few family members who are in IT, and they just said, hey, why don't you try it? And I was like, well, I don't think, I'm not technical, so I don't think I'll do so well. But I just honestly just took a leap of faith.
I just wanted to protect people and their computers. We all know how important technology is in everyone's lives nowadays. Ever since I started studying computer science, I knew I wanted to be in the cybersecurity field and help make the virtual world safer for everyone.
I was introduced to cybersecurity concepts through the Girls Go Cyber Start program when I was in high school, and that's what directed me to major in computer science, participating in this program and learning more about other people's experiences, and especially the real life application of cybersecurity has definitely pushed me to pursue a career in cybersecurity.
I have been in the IT field for about 20 odd years now. And one of the things I really enjoy about that is the opportunity to learn and to grow and experiment with new technology. So getting into cybersecurity gives me an opportunity to expand on that, but also be doing something meaningful.
I considered taking cybersecurity as a turn in my studies because I felt that it really matches with my ideology of actually applying what I learned in the real life scenarios and really making a change. The main takeaway from this course for me would be that right now I'm way ahead of where I was when I started taking training from this scholarship program.
So I started taking courses at my local community college. I basically started with a CompTIA A+, basic computer science course, and I just kept going after that. I moved on to network engineering, more of the Cisco Net Academy courses, and really liked them, and I was doing really, really well with them, and I just kept going, and I saw that my community college offered a certificate in cybersecurity, so I started going for those courses.
Initially, I wasn't planning on applying because I felt I may not be ready for it yet. I had only gotten to know about the field of cybersecurity about a month before I saw the application. I had just installed Kali Linux because of a Udemy course I had taken. I wasn't quite sure if I was ready, but then I noticed that it was a phased program, that you had to go, that it was not guaranteed all the way to the end. You had to keep moving to the next phase. And so I decided to just sort of jump and take a leap.
Prior to this, I was working as an administrative assistant for a telecommunications company in Boston. And while there, we had done a cybersecurity training. And my mind was just completely flown learning about different social engineering attacks and the things that people should do to kind of mitigate them, like two-factor authentication and not reusing passwords. And it was just so fascinating to me that I decided to apply to be a cybersecurity apprentice.
Well, it was in August of 2020, so we were still in the pandemic, and I saw in my minority cybersecurity Microsoft Teams group that WiCyS had an open call to anyone who wanted to, join the technology field, be in cybersecurity, and I felt that I would be a good fit, especially it said that you could have no background, you didn't need any background, and that they'd train you up.
I was in a panic. If that's a stage, that's where I was. Following years of on and off again relationship with IT, I had been flirting with marketing, hospitality, and so forth. And I just finished an enterprise cloud computing certificate. Hilariously, because it was the most economic choice to study cybersecurity.
So I was pursuing a bachelor's degree in computer science. I still am actually. And I had been trying to learn more about cybersecurity for over a year. I tried joining groups at my college that were focused on studying cybersecurity, but I was still having a hard time getting started. So that's when the opportunity to sign up for the security training scholarship appeared to me.
I have been with my current company a little over 12 years now, and I've had quite a few different roles there. But over the years, I've noticed that I've kind of been drifting out of more hands-on technical roles into kind of more management or business analysis roles. About a year ago, I decided to kind of sit back and take a good hard look at the way my career was progressing, and determined that I needed to find a way to get back into that groove of doing things I really enjoyed. And I kind of realized that a lot of the roles that I had were technology related, and all of them had some flavor of security to them, but never really tied into it. So the more I thought about it, the more shifting into cybersecurity just seemed like a logical transition.
Definitely Caitlin's mentorship and the web of support that we crafted together as a cohort in this Immersion Academy. I mean, during our weekly meetings, hands down, we did this together.
My favorite part was CyberStart. CyberStart is amazing because, well, background about me, I do enjoy games. I do enjoy video games. I've had all systems. I grew up with all brothers and all cousins. They were all guys, so I grew up around gaming. Making cybersecurity a gamified experience, I think, is what really piqued my knowledge and really piqued my interest. Sorry.
My favorite parts, I think everything is my favorite part. It was just so amazing. The first part, which was the pre-qualifying round, was so incredible. We had a Slack channel, and I think there were over 900 of us, and I think 300 were on the Slack. We helped each other out with safe hints for the challenges, and that was so much fun. The energy in there was just so incredible.
My favorite part is the people. I really like meeting with my cohort weekly and hearing their experiences as well. They're very supportive and very motivating, and it makes me feel like I have a home in cybersecurity.
I feel that the scholarship program was very different from others because here there was a lot of energy, a lot of life, be it the cohort or on-demand videos in the sessions. We were actually able to learn a lot of concepts, both deep and peripheral ones, and actually we are being examined regarding how much knowledge or how much understanding we had regarding the subject.
I'm not sure that there's any scholarship out there that will catapult you right into the domain of mid-career certifications for cybersecurity. It's comprehensive, right? In that you're getting career support, you're getting mentorship, and opportunities to collaborate and connect with brilliant minds.
CTF is like a 24-hour one where you have a lot of challenges across different areas of cybersecurity.
I enjoyed stage 1 a lot. It was a weekend-long beginner level CTF, and there were nearly 1,000 women playing. Some questions were pretty easy, which is nice because we didn't get discouraged. But others got me cracking my head, which was also nice because then I felt like it was really, I was overcoming a challenge.
Again, I would say a gamified experience. CTFs are literally, I'm addicted. I did a CTF, and I think the first CTF that WiCyS held on the Tomahawk platform was one of my first ever CTFs. And it literally is like finding a hidden treasure.
I'd never done any captured flags prior to that, so it was a really wonderful experience. In part due to the Slack channel of everyone who was so supportive.
Capture the flag events are kind of fun simply because I like puzzles. I like picking things apart. I like figuring how they work. I like problem solving. It's a big part of what got me into the IT field in general. So that kind of a qualifier for a program like this, I thought was a really neat opportunity to pick up some new skills, to learn some new things, to really get a feel for kind of what might be out there in the cybersecurity field.
I always loved playing CTF because I love taking challenges and analyzing them and then solving them, and the victory in the end was really sweet.
CyberStart game, I was hooked. Period. Practicum is the way. I can no longer retain things that I'm not interacting with. So I will never forget, command injection, because I had to spend hours trying to exploit a web page that was vulnerable to it. So invaluable experience.
From morning until night, I would just, chip away at the CyberStart game. And it was a lot of fun. It was really challenging, learning just a little bit more each day. And that was amazingly fun. I never thought of myself as a STEM person before. I think I was always a little bit scared of how difficult I had assumed it would be and how kind of male dominated the field is. But at the same time, I think cybersecurity is incredibly interesting.
Just having so many puzzles to figure out, and just how they progressively, got, more difficult. And, it helped my focus for so long.
So yeah, on stage 2, we played CyberStart game, which was I believe a 3-month-long CTF with a lot more challenges spread across multiple levels. I learned a lot of technical stuff from game, and it taught me perseverance at a whole other level.
The CyberStart game, it helps you build up skills, Linux programming, cryptographic skills too. And you also have a part about forensics if you guys want to know more about forensics.
I've always been a fan of gamified learning, and this kind of really took that to the next level. It broke things down not only into levels of difficulty, but it also separated things out into areas of expertise so that you could kind of really focus on different things like Python coding or forensic analysis or web page security.
SANS Foundations was extremely user-friendly. The graphics and the audio that accompanied the lessons helped me to reinforce it and helped it to really stick. And the videos were great walkthroughs, and everything that was really just well constructed.
The best part about the Foundations course was it very much prepared us for taking the SANS on-demand courses. We were just kind of given a deadline about when we had to take the exam, but everything else, our schedule, how fast we'd move, all of that was kind of left up.
So at SANS Foundations, we got a huge course about everything you need to know in order to get into cybersecurity. And yeah, I guess it was really helpful, incredibly helpful, especially to fill the gaps from what we had learned on previous stages.
The thing that I liked the most about the Foundations course was that the name is spot on. This course was designed to take folks who could have come from any technical level, brand new, experienced folks in certain parts of the industry, folks who are looking to grow different skills and just kind of give you a well-rounded base to build your technical skills from.
Of the program, and started with SANS Foundation, which was an amazing course. It's a new course that I think was offered only last year. I have a programming background, so but this really was helpful because I was rusty in quite a few things. There were portions that it was new to me, and so just getting all that together and brushing up on things that were rusty and new things was amazing. And it was hands-on. There were portions that were hands-on, which is my favorite part of learning.
How did I decide what elective to pursue? Everything in the Sans catalog is attractive, so it was difficult, and especially all of their forensics offerings. I called by thinking about what would be the most difficult to pivot into without any background. And also looking at the skills that I already was learning about. So cloud security, I was already invested in, DevOps and learning about that.
So stage 4 was actually my favorite because it is the closest to what real cybersecurity professionals do. I took the SANS 401 course, which is focused on cybersecurity essentials, just like SANS Foundations, but with a lot more depth, like a lot. We also had the opportunity to take GSAC, which is the GX certification related to 401. Afterwards, I decided to take the SANS 504 course, which focuses on hacker tools, techniques, exploits, and incident handling. I chose this elective because since I'm still not sure what I actually want to work with, 504 seemed to be the best option. It provides the best overview across multiple cybersecurity areas.
The stage 4, the advanced training piece, was kind of really what we'd all been building to, how Foundations and the CyberStart gaming had pushed us in this direction. So I found this incredibly useful because it gave me the opportunity to continue to build on the knowledge that I was already picking up.
So doing this program while simultaneously doing my undergraduate courses was a bit hectic, but it was really helpful. I've learned so many different study tactics and ways to retain information through these SANS courses. And that is very helpful and applicable to what I'm learning in school as well.
The fact that I learned so much just from being in a cohort learning at whiplash speeds, right? So absorbing, but also observing their challenges, styles of learning, and relishing in their success when we did it, right? When we get our certs. That was awesome.
I still can't believe that I'm an undergraduate student with a GX certification. I'm sure this is going to play a major role when I start job hunting. Not to mention the connections I've made so far.
Like 6 months ago, I didn't think I was even going to get a job, even though I went through all this, the training, at my community college. Who's going to hire a 44-year-old woman in tech in an entry-level job? I was pretty set that I might not even work ever again, at least not in engineering or anything, tech related. And, just when I started these SANS courses and I realized how the integrity of SANS and the courses and the reputation that they have, I'm like, this would help. I actually might have a chance in getting a job. So it was a career changer. It definitely helped.
I'm super fortunate because I think earning the scholarship has definitely, validated myself, validated my decision to become a career changer at what has been a very tumultuous time period. I think having the SANS certifications has really added a lot of clout to me as a candidate when I'd been interviewing.
Cybersecurity is a stunningly broad field. It is a mile wide and a mile deep. There are so many different disciplines to learn and sub-disciplines beyond those, and so many rabbit holes you could go down exploring this field. So for somebody just getting into the field, even having been in IT for so long, it was pretty intimidating once I kind of decided that was the direction I wanted to go. This program kind of really came along right at the right time in making that decision to shift career paths, because it gave me the ability to step back and work on some basic retraining that enhanced and kind of dusted off some of the skills that I already had, but made some of those disciplines a little more concise, a little cleaner.
And for me, from day one, I already was applying the concepts I was learning at work. And this was life-changing for me as a career changer, because my employer trusted me right away and appreciated the work I delivered because of all these concepts that I used and applied at work.
My boss at Amazon, as an incoming security engineer intern, asked me, "Oh, can you tell me a little bit about your Sans Immersion Academy experience?" That's one that's happening. I will also be interning at Intel in their client computing group, so that's very exciting. Oh yeah, the world is opening up. Let's just keep it at that.
Having gone through this program, having learned the things that I've learned and earned the certifications that I've earned, I am in a much better position to be a contributing member of this team. And as of right now, we are actively working on finding a role that fits the skills that I've acquired.
The scholarship, I've participated with NCL. It's in two seasons, and that's been really fun. WiCyS does a really good job of welcoming new and new people to cybersecurity. I mean, I have the cohort we meet almost every week now for the SAN security, and that's been really great. Just knowing people that are going, other women that are going through the same thing that I'm doing, and have the same doubts and insecurities that I do, but we're still plugging away. We support each other, and that's been really great.
WiCyS has been life-changing, obviously. They really mean it when they say WiCyS. And everything from their AWS security jams, their game days, their partnerships with camps, all of that's brought me that much closer to being able to interact with things hands-on that I wouldn't have otherwise.
I would not have found this program without them. WiCyS was the first women's cybersecurity organization that I found and that I joined. And they are a remarkable organization. They have such a great reach globally, and they just continue to expand on ways to help women progress in the cybersecurity field.
I would have to pick two. I know you asked for one, but number one is Acute Focus, which was really easy because the material is very engrossing. And number two, my tenacity was already unstoppable, but it was heartening to know that no one in that cohort would ever allow me to quit because of self-doubt.
The biggest one was definitely time. Time management was absolutely critical for a program like this. It is essentially an immersion academy, so you're drinking from the proverbial educational fire hose, which was definitely a lot to take in. I currently work full-time. I'm a single mom. I have 3 girls who are elementary and middle school age. So being able to balance maintaining my household and setting aside time to study and to listen and to read and to learn was absolutely a necessity.
Unlike other folks in this cohort, I really hadn't attempted any foundational cybersecurity certification. And part of that is because I come from a time, or I had worked in IT during a time where people weren't as, I think, embracing we're embracing women in IT in the same way that they are now. I had that stigma, and it took meeting somebody who was about my age in this cohort, who had a very similar experience and survived it all. And I said, if she can do it, I can do it. Jeez. Not saying that we had equivalent experiences, but yeah, it was very important for me to see that.
being able to, know other people through WiCyS, to network with. Like networking's always been kind of like, it's just not a very awkward thing for me to do, but I feel a little bit more confident now, especially with WiCyS. And it seems like everybody in WiCyS, all the other members are very approachable, and you can connect with them, and they'll be like, oh yeah, and they'll help you out, which is really great.
If you have an opportunity to apply for this program, I highly recommend it. It's just the amount of knowledge you gain in less than a year is just mind-boggling, and it gave me so much confidence that I can be in this field. I went to a couple of interviews and I was able to hold my own because of this program, and so I'm very grateful for that.
Because anyone who's ready to do this, to throw down, give them themselves for this time, they're going to succeed, and they're going to push others to do the same.
Yeah, definitely encourage anyone who is even remotely interested to apply for the program. It has been so helpful for me, and as one of only a handful of women in my entire organization and the only female security analyst, I'm just so happy to have a wonderful female cohort who are all kind of in the same boat as me, as career changer, as women in tech. And yeah, it's so great. I look forward to our weekly calls.
It is nothing short of life-changing. This program took somebody who was looking to make a change but was uncertain about how or where or when, what direction to go in, what made sense, and really just put things in an order that made sense.
Yes, 100%. This program will change your life for the better. I've learned a lot about general cybersecurity concepts, which I definitely feel are necessary for you to start a career in cybersecurity, and it's a good place to start as well.
Definitely try for it. I mean, at least, if they do it the same way next time, even if you just get to play the CTF out of it, is, definitely worth applying.
I would recommend this scholarship program to my fellow cybersecurity enthusiasts because the amount of good things I received as a part of scholarship program is unfathomable. This is a great program for freshers to start preparing a career in cybersecurity, at the same time perfect for people who are in the industry to receive good certifications.
Because it's a life changer. This program is a life changer from beginning to end. I feel so fortunate to have been chosen to be part of this cohort. Not only because I was able to fast track my cybersecurity knowledge, but also because I have met truly incredible women who taught me the true meaning of two super valuable lessons that people usually take for granted, which is believe in yourself and never give up.
Okay, amazing. I really love hearing from our scholars. Now that you've seen a few of their faces, I'd like to introduce a few of the 2020 cohort members that are here to help answer any other questions you may still have. And very quickly, I think there are a few questions in the Q&A that I can just go through and answer very, very quickly. Non-US citizens are eligible to apply. Previous scholars who who weren't selected as final scholars are still eligible to apply again. This program is open to all WiCyS members. And the CTF ranges in difficulty. It has all sorts of different challenges. So yes, you will see things like crypto and web and forensics, and they will go from like easier to more difficult just to kind of see where your skill levels lie. And then I think one more thing that I did not mention that is really, truly impressive about this last cohort is that I think over half of them were employed in security even before the end of the program. I think that really speaks to the quality of both the training and the dedication of these candidates. And that being said, I think you've probably heard my voice enough. So I think a good intro for each of the ladies that I have here with with us today. We've got Hema and Liz and Colleen, and I think I'd like to ask each of you maybe where you were and what your situation was when you heard about the training and what really like drove you to apply. And Hema, we'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hema Pillay, and I, as I mentioned in the video, I knew about cybersecurity only a month before the application, and so I wasn't sure. I'm actually a stay-at-home mom with a prior background in programming, and so because I had taken a few years off to focus on family, I wasn't sure if I could even study, retain information at that level, and so, but something in me just said jump. And because it was a phased program, I decided to go ahead with it. And like everyone mentioned, it was life-changing. Google search is an amazing thing for each phase. That's how I survived CyberStart. In fact, I finished pretty much almost all the challenges before the deadline. And it was because of Google search, because I didn't know anything about any of that stuff, except for maybe a little bit of Python programming. So if I can do it, anyone can do this. And so highly recommend the program. And I think that was it, right, Caitlin? Yeah, thank you. And I'll pass it on to Liz, who's next on my frame.
Hi, I am Liz Beatty. I happened across this program, as I had previously mentioned. I was just kind of taking a look at potential career transitions. And I mean, what better time to decide to completely overhaul your career than in the middle of a pandemic, right? So I had actually, ironically enough, reached out to the Immersion Academy coordinator for SANS just prior to seeing this scholarship opportunity come up with WiCyS. So I figured, since I was already sort of looking at that, I might as well, give it a shot and kind of see what was going on. And things just kind of progressed from there, and at a pretty rapid fire rate. So it was definitely an interesting process along the way. A lot of nail biting and a lot of panic, waiting for those late night messages from Lynn to find out whether or not I was going to move on to the next part of the journey or not. And I can definitely remember chats and Discords and Slacks with the other ladies, just, like, has anybody seen an email yet? Has anybody heard anything yet? Does anybody know what's going on? Just that general feeling of everybody, congratulating and consoling and communicating was really awesome. And I will pass it to Colleen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen Campbell. And when I applied for the program a year ago now, like Hema, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had been looking for a job for about 6 months, and I got literally 0 responses to any applications that I had sent out. And, during one of my late night, just looking on LinkedIn, I happened to see that this, I happened to see an ad for this program. And I go, like, never gonna make it, right? But I just said, let's just apply. And every round I was very, very, very surprised to keep making it through. But the program, like everyone said on the video, was literally life-changing. Before we even got to stage 4, which was taking the GIAC classes and getting a certification, I got several job interviews and I got a job. So that was really, really great.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. And then I think another great question that we have here is, apart from your professional growth, please tell us about your personal growth during the course of the program. Let's start with Liz this time.
Of course. Personal growth through this program. It is kind of stunning, the speed at which this all kind of moved. When you stop to think about taking classes or courses, normally you either have kind of an open-ended opportunity, or if you're a student, you have like a semester or whatever to kind of work through what you're learning. And even under normal circumstances, a SANS course per certification runs roughly 4 months, where you take your class and you've got time to kind of prep and study. And we were moving at light speed. So it really, from a personal perspective, it drove a lot of evaluation of focus. There were times where the cohort really kind of pulled me out of a hole in terms of feeling kind of like there's no way I can keep up with this. Like, this is an insane pace that we're moving at. but really just kind of learning that determination and stubbornness, bluntly, will take you a long way on this sort of a journey. And I really could not have pulled through this without the support from the cohort and my family and my partner. I would not have managed this. So it really kind of taught me a lot about what you can do if you really kind of set your mind to it and make that a priority. So I will let Caitlin assign somebody else.
Colleen, let's move to you.
Sure. So I would say that I gained an insane amount of confidence through this program. I'm a very anxious public speaker. I don't do well around new people. And when the one job interview that I went on, it was for a vulnerability mitigations coordinator, and it was several hours. And afterwards I was like, whoa, was that me? Did I answer all those questions? I totally killed it. And they ended up going with someone else who had more experience in the field, which is cool. But the team loved me so much that they found a spot for me. So that was very, very cool.
And we will jump to Hema.
In terms of personal growth, it was, again, the confidence, like Colleen mentioned. I can't imagine how far I've come in this 1 year. And I think the whole cohort will agree with each of us, how far we've come in terms of pushing each other, pushing ourselves in terms of the time frame. As Liz mentioned, it was just such an aggressive schedule. But I'm like, wow, if I can do this, what else can I do? And so to believe in ourselves and even the studying strategies, now I apply that to learn for various other things that I'm learning within tech, within cybersecurity. I'm like, this is a great way to learn. And we learned that from each other, from tips and links that were shared in the cohort. And that weekly calls that Caitlin set up was just amazing, because we would check in on each other and we're like, oh, we can do this. Some weeks we were like, I don't know if we can make this, make it. And just hearing everyone's stories, they're like, yes, we can do this, And so that was in terms of, I can, knowing that I can take this forward with me, that no matter, whenever I question myself, that to think of this time and realize I can push myself.
Yeah, I think that what we're hearing a lot of is that the training is incredibly valuable, but the people that you are there with are also just a huge asset and will, I'm sure, stay that way throughout the duration of your career. I think we can answer two of these questions kind of at once. So one of them is, for someone who is currently studying a master's degree, if they're a recipient, would it be daunting for them to manage both? And the other one is, how much time per week are candidates expected to devote to the program, especially during the last two stages? So let's talk a little bit about how much time you put into the program and how you balanced, life and studies. And we will start with Colleen.
It is definitely time consuming, but absolutely worth it. So I would say that as someone doing a degree, it's going to be very difficult, and you're probably never going to see friends or family, but it's going to be worth the investment. I personally, while I was working full time, I started the job just as we were doing the SANS courses at the end. And so I was working full time and then falling asleep on the couch after work, and then spending literally dawn to dusk, sometimes later than that, every weekend, just cranking out lessons and taking notes and studying.
Liz.
I can't speak too much to the master's program piece of things. I was working full time and having my young ones in the house. It really kind of came to there would be work, there would be dinner, there would be time with the kids. When the kids went to bed, it was study time. On the weekends, my mom, bless her, would keep an eye on my girls, and weekends were study time. It was quiet time. It was cram time at some point. So I would check in with the cohort on Saturday, kind of recharge a little bit, see how everybody was doing, and just kind of mentally reset a little bit, and just kind of keep pushing. It is absolutely time intensive. That's not meant to be a discouragement. That's just meant to be kind of a reality check. But I mean, honestly, most things worth doing aren't easy. So that was not a deterrent at all. If anything, it was kind of more of a, I've made it this far. I have the opportunity to do something that an awful lot of people unfortunately didn't get the chance to do that time around. So I was just gonna to push on it and make it work. And yeah, there were definitely some push it until the screen blurs and the books blur and what color am I using to highlight this thing, and I don't even know what book I'm looking at anymore sort of moments, but absolutely worth every minute of it.
What I would say is Caitlin shared with SANS Foundation an Excel spreadsheet because we had 8 weeks to finish it. And that helped me. I did that for the next 2 courses so that I could backtrack, and make sure that I was finishing what I needed to finish within a week. Now, we had a little bit of flexibility. I think if you had certain circumstances, like a week or 2, you could get extra for one of the courses. So if you needed that, we could adjust it for that one. But I think staying on track really helped. And what helped me specifically with this program was that every phase was harder than the previous, I felt. And so it sort of gradually built up my stamina on how many hours I needed. And if I had jumped straight into the courses, I think I wouldn't have been able to, it would have been a real struggle, And so I think that transition was kind of smooth, and that really helped me. And I felt like it was doable, and I think it is doable. With a master's program, I'm not sure again, because it is a lot of studying, but on the other hand, you're already in that study mode. So I think that might help. But you do need a certain number of hours, and it just depends on each person, I think, on how much they can stay. But I think if you can focus, you can really get it done. And it is so worth the sacrifice that you make just for like 9 to 10 months.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a time commitment. But I'm telling you, like all of the women in this last cohort had different situations. All of them had other time commitments, full-time jobs, while balancing taking care of their families and things like that. And we all made it through together. You will have a huge support network. So I would say give that some thought for sure as far as what you're able to commit, but also know that you will have a support network.
I do want to add that I think there were 2 moms with quite a few moms, including myself, but with young kids, like I think toddlers, and who are working. And I think Colleen is one of them. So if they can do it, that was whenever I felt down, I used to think about that. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Okay, you all know that I love talking about imposter syndrome. So did you struggle with imposter syndrome when entering the cybersecurity space as a beginner/novice? I would extend that to, did you struggle with imposter syndrome as you were going through this program and when you applied for it? And I'll jump back to, let's do Hema again. We'll start with you again.
Sure. In the beginning, yes, but I think what helped was the cohort again, to see that we were all struggling in some ways, but then we would sort of pick up, and say, no, we can do this, and give stories of how we were overcoming certain challenges, and I think that helped. So the power of a group together, I think struggling together really helped. And I heard, even though I'm not currently working, I heard stories about those who joined in that first month, and as they progressed, how the confidence built up. So I think just knowing that it's a process, the imposter syndrome, and just, you're going to get over it, and, you can overcome it, I think is really helpful.
Liz, what about you?
You're muted.
It looked like I had unmuted. Sorry about that. So yeah, I think anybody who pops into, I think imposter syndrome is something that everybody deals with regardless of what field they're in. I mean, we had students in here. We had, moms returning to the workforce. We had all sorts of folks coming in at different, varying levels of confidence in their abilities for a variety of reasons. I absolutely did deal with, and still do kind of deal with, imposter syndrome. I've been in IT for a little over 2 decades, but this is a new area of IT for me, for cybersecurity. So it's taking a step back, being that rookie again, and just, after having, established myself over the years to kind of be at the proverbial bottom of the totem pole again is intimidating. But I've been really fortunate in the support system that I've had, in the support from the cohort.
from my environment, from my family, from my loved ones, from my own team at work, who I've kind of kept apprised with my journey going on here, and just touching base with folks. And the InfoSec community tends to be very uplifting, in terms of everybody kind of recognizing that imposter syndrome is just one of those ongoing things you learn to deal with in small pieces, right? So as you build on your skills and your knowledge, that eases up, and then you just kind of learn to ignore it after a while and just do what you need to do.
Yeah, I think it was especially validating for me anytime I got a win. Like the CyberStart game was awesome, because anytime you completed a level, you were like, yeah, awesome. Like I didn't know how to do that, and I spent hours doing it, and I freaking figured it out. Like that's awesome. But also going through the SANS classes as on such a time crunch that we did, and then being able to taking my first certification exam and clicking done, and then seeing congratulations, you passed. Like that was very validating. It's not a lot of people can learn a new skill by themselves, outside of a classroom kind of immersive experience while they're doing other things like raising families and working jobs. Not a lot of people can do that and get the certification on the side. So that was very validating for me.
Thank you so much. And I think that is a good place for us to let you all go, or you're off the hook now. You don't have to answer anything else. There are a few other questions in the Q&A that I would like to address really fast. There's one about a program schedule and about the phases of the training. You can find all of that information on the website that I believe is like scrolling on your screen right now, and that is also where you will apply. The other two questions we have are about the application essay, how long it should be, that kind of thing. I will say that there's no set length, but that the application essay is like weighted quite heavily when it comes to that first selection, because a lot of what we see is going to be numbers, and there's a lot of performance stuff there too, but what's really going to set you apart are those essays, and how we can see that human part of you and pull you through in that way. And that being said, I think any other questions you could probably, Lynn, I think email WiCyS. There's info on that website. And then we have one more video.
Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce Royal Hanson, the VP of Google. He would like to congratulate all the scholarship recipients and encourage more folks to be able to join forces in the next cohort setting. So we'll go ahead and
Hi, my name is Royal Hanson. I'm a Vice President of Engineering at Google, and I run the Privacy, Safety, and Security team. I joined Google about 3 years ago, and before that spent 15 years in the financial services industry, most recently at American Express, but at Goldman Sachs before that. And then for 5 or 6 years, my introduction to the security industry, a little like you're joining us now, I was at a company called At Stake, which if you want to read some of the histories of some of the early hackers or security work done in the industry, you can look those up either on YouTube videos or some of the history. But it was a really good group, and my education in this space. We are super excited to have been even just a small part of the WiCyS program, and in particular this moment for you. As I've seen that a majority of you have already entered jobs in the field, and we're excited about the sort of performance on the SANS training. It looked like it was a fantastic program and cohort, so you should feel great about that. I think one of the things that I would say is, as you read all this news about cybersecurity training needed or people in the workforce, I think this is a great example of how not only can people join the industry from a variety of different backgrounds or histories, whether those are sort of in diversity, in the classic diversity lens, or just people who've been coming from a technical background of some sort and they want to take up security. I think security can be learned and engaged at any stage of a career. And I'm super excited that you all have taken that step. And we look forward to watching you. Google is super proud of you all, and would love to play a variety of roles and resources for you as you go through your career. So just a couple minutes here to say congratulations, and we look forward to the great things you'll do. Thanks.
It was a really great video, and we're happy that Royal was able to provide that for us, and super thrilled that Google was able to support, initiated with the help of SANS Institute and the WiCyS organization, and support the 15 scholarship recipients through the 2020 cohort. And so congratulations to all of you for the hard work and the due diligence that you did. And so with that, we're going to wrap this up. If anyone has any questions, please email me at lynn@wicsys.org. That's LYNN@wicsys.org. The information for the next cohort, which applications opened up this morning, we're super excited. We're getting lots of flurry of activity about that. But the next cohort is funded by Google, Bloomberg, and Facebook. We are scaling it to receive 38 scholarships in this program. So we're not only seeking to sustain this program every single year and make it a part of who or what WiCyS is all about, but also continue to scale it each and every year. So if anyone's listening and you're just interested in cybersecurity, join us. If anyone wants to do a career-changing opportunity, join us. If you have children, if you're getting your master's degree, if you're working full-time, take the risk on yourself and apply for this. It's multi-stage, it's multi-tiered. You're gonna learn every step of the way, and it is a gradual process. And next year, we'd like to be showcasing you. So with that, I wanna thank you all for joining us, for you, the panelists, for being here, for being a strong part of the program and being able to answer the Q&A for us here today, for Caitlin and all her mentoring and support and the power of community that comes from that piece, bringing all these women together and having them achieve the careers of their dreams because of that. So I thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.